We had some wind the other day that blew my porch furniture off. Didn't it, Ember Sue? You want food? Okay. I get your food. Here you go. Where's your babies? Are your babies at the barn? Your babies at the barn? Made a mess when I poured that, didn't I? Look, here comes the babies. There's the babies. Breakfast. Breakfast is served. It's freaking cold. Freaking cold. Good morning. Look at the cow leg I woke up with today. It's okay though. We'll roll with it. I'm sitting here gonna eat my oatmeal with you. You ever have one of those nights where you just constantly think, because after the Dr. Phil thing and then the cornbread mafia and all this stuff, it got me to thinking about all of the little security threat groups that you see as an officer that don't amount to a hill of beans, that may have been powerful entities in their past, but just kind of lost it when things changed in the world. That's kind of the cornbread mafia, and that's why they didn't have, they had minuscule representation in my neck of the woods when I was an officer, and it was because Tennessee was very heavily monitored for any kind of marijuana growth, and they were primarily a marijuana grower and facilitator. And they normally grew it in the Midwestern states and had people that would funnel it, and they would funnel it north through the Midwestern states, and then they would funnel it from the southern border through the Gulf of Mexico up through the Appalachia area. But then when everything started to get legalized and you could buy it at a local dispensary down the street, it took away a lot of their power. And a lot of them were jailed in the late 80s and 90s, and it just wasn't worth their money and their time to get back into it after they got out. And so you didn't see them for a long time. They just kind of were this little bitty group of basically a few people holding on to the namesake. So I thought, well, let's think about this. And I got to thinking about it last night, because Candace cries when they speak of something like that. And I thought, well, what has changed? What has changed that would have given this little minuscule gang that had pretty much already run its course power to make somebody cry? Well, our southern border has changed a lot in the last year. It has become primarily open, and it has become a free-for-all, especially for trade in narcotics, weapons, and children. It's just become a huge trafficking area. And the trafficking normally goes north up kind of straight middle. They have a western path, but it normally comes in another way, and then it goes through the Gulf and up to the northeast. And so in my area of Tennessee, we only see like a few passer-throughs because they don't know the area, and most people here are poor. They don't get a whole lot of business. Could it be that now, since the border is basically wide open and they can funnel more things, other things, that they're starting to seek out new paths to distribute new product? And that Don Wells, having a history with drug trafficking, which he has stated, and having all the charges in the Midwest to kind of prove that wherever he went, he ended up in some kind of drug ring. Could it be that he has gotten in with this, or they have coerced him in with this, and something went wrong? Now, this is just me, the wheels in my brain turning, the hamster on the wheel turning, just me just thinking out loud. Because we are seeing a resurgence of gangs in the area, but what they were normally peddling, they're not peddling anymore. They're peddling much more serious product, materials, people. And the corridor coming up through Tennessee has, oh my goodness, seen 10 times the traffic it normally sees since old farting Joe Biden opened up the border. You can't get mad about anything I just said because it was all factual. He did fart, he is old, and he did open up the border. So don't get mad at me for saying that. So it's just a thought. It's just a thought. Could this, previously done its due gang have been revitalized by the southern border issue, picked up a new product or two to peddle, and gone back to old contacts to peddle these things, and perhaps Dawn said no, or said yes and didn't fulfill an obligation, or Candace said yes and Dawn said no, or it just makes you wonder. It just makes you wonder. I like oatmeal. So that's where my brain's been all night. I did not sleep well last night because I thought, because it's we do see gang activity in Tennessee. Even the Latin Kings have a prominent gang hold in the area. But, the cornbread mafia and all that seemed to have been something that died out in the late 80s, early 90s. So the question now is, if they are back in strength and numbers to create the response that we saw in that woman's face, can we verify that with arrest and stuff like that? And what are they trafficking in? Because we all know that the marijuana trade no longer brings as much money in because it's basically legal almost everywhere. And in the southern states, the rules are still so stringent that a lot of people don't want to waste their time because they don't want to get caught up with multiple dibbly charges and end up with an 18-year sentence over 7 or 8 marijuana arrests. Because they just keep getting arrested, and then eventually they're doing near to 20 years over marijuana. It's stupid. So they normally just kind of avoid this area. But now, heroin, meth, firearms are not a big trafficking option up through here. But child trafficking has always been a huge issue in and around Knoxville, Tennessee. Huge. And y'all have heard me say that several times. So does all this go together? Are we seeing a resurgence, a revitalization, a rebirth to a lot of the old smuggling, trafficking people because of the border issue? Because of the numbers that we have in that are undocumented, and the ability they have now to quickly funnel things that are a lot more dangerous or a lot more serious? Does Candace know to be more scared than half of us know to be scared? Or is it just something that is isolated to them because of a bad deal or bad meet and greet, bad blood? Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. But I did some questioning, and as of right now, I did some questioning, sent out some feelers last night, and as of right now, there is no huge boost, huge boom in the security threat group notification of imprisoned or supervised people being part of this mafia. There is no huge number increase, although they are seeing more of the petty drug trafficking and stuff like that. It has not been assigned or attributed to any specific group. So they're still staying on the very, on the down low. But that may change as time goes on. And that may be a clue as to what occurred. Geographically, demographically, sometimes it doesn't make sense, sometimes it does. I go back and forth. But they are fairly close to major thoroughfares, and they are able to hide there and jump on a road and be gone in 10 minutes and be in 5,000 different places. So are they rebuilding? Are they rebuilding because of the ability to smuggle from the southern side of the world again? Is this another issue that we're just going to have to get used to? Because it is going to be something that is allowed again. It's going to be something that is overlooked again politically. Makes you wonder. Now I'm gonna eat my oatmeal and shut up. I could be completely wrong. But it's something to be concerned about, because these people that band together to do bad things, they they don't come visit you to pet your puppy dog. Yeah, that's where my brain's been for the last 12 hours. I need a nap so bad. I'm eating oatmeal, and then I'm gonna take a nap.